My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
A couple months ago, Jessie came to a very weird realization about our podcast. So, our podcast is called the Certified Noonas, and we have never actually done like an episode about Noona Romance Dramas. And then like we had all the episodes planned out, so we couldn't do it until now. So now we're here, and we're like, it's finally time after almost. How long have we been a podcast? Almost 5 years? 4 years?
Nearly 5 years in October.
Our name.
And we've never done a Noona Romance.
Well, no, we've done we've done episodes.
Feel like
of
a
shows
specific, yeah.
But we've never done,
but like it wasn't intentional, like focused on that.
Which is funny because it should have been obvious.
Yeah,
it should have been easy.
We're like really big on themes, so that's also
sort of sad, right? Like,
yeah,
that shows you the power of the human brain to just like overlook obvious details for long periods of time.
But we're here now. It's okay. It's fine.
Here we are.
Mm-hmm. So we're here to like do that. Yeah. And for anyone who's like been listening to us and is like, why is their name their name? It's because we old ladies. We old ladies, so we're Noonas. To all
it's also kind of like a joke of
there.
like a poking at like people who are being ageist and be like, well, you're what calls us Noona, like affectionately. So.
My son had a Korean exchange student in his class, and he was talking. Oh, my mom does this podcast and everything. So she looked it up and she goes, "Do they know what that means?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm pretty sure they know what it means." And she's like, "It sounds like what they're saying is they're stealing your boyfriends." And I'm like,
yeah.
That's what it's
yes.
supposed to
Yeah, you're like, yep, that's the joke. That was the joke, yes.
The old people are stealing your...
Yeah, that's exactly, because for anyone who doesn't know, the joke was born out of these weird ageist comments that K-pop stands, your Opus call is Noona, that K-pop stands would make about people of our age, like, standing K-pop groups, like, being into K-pop, and us being like, it's legal for us. There, like, so that was
also have money, so
it's just like idols like Shonu, who's like, as long as she's not older than my mom, it's all good. And like,
and
okay,
listen.
Well, all right then.
Like, do what you want, little 16-year-old, but no. This is where it's at. So yeah, we did if that little exchange student does ever listen to us, we do know we did get that was the joke.
That exactly
you
was
also understood the joke perfectly.
We are fully aware we will never be dating any idols or any actors. That's like not a thing.
Like, nor would I ever want to. Like, I don't need that heat in my life. No.
Oh my gosh, just like think of the fans.
Absolutely not.
Like, real hard.
So, for anyone who, we never know, like, what all our listeners, what their knowledge level is, where they're coming. Like, this might be the first ever episode you listened to after you watched your first K-drama and loved it and wanted to listen to a K-drama podcast on your, on your morning commute, and then found us. So you might not even know, like, what is a Noona romance? Well, do we have...
We're here for you.
We're here for you. Do we have some fun times for you? So basically, just like real quick and dirty, a Noona romance is basically an age gap romance where the woman is older. That's it. Now we get into some like weird territory, because this is where some of us could possibly disagree with how much older do they have to be for us to consider it, for our own personal selves to consider it a Noona romance.
I feel like
okay.
At least 5 years.
One thing I will say, the thing that I think would make it even if it was 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
and would make me still say it was a Noona romance, would be if the people were in 2 separate phases of life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if someone was like already graduated out of college, been in the workplace for a while, and the other person still was very much surrounded by college students all the time, like something like that would be the only time I would think like 1 year. I wouldn't care about the year thing so much as the phase of life.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen that often. Usually in dramas, the characters will very much have at least 3, 5,
years.
whatever years
Yeah.
after that. But especially for women being the older one, you can be in a different phase of life pretty quick once you get out of school, or if you have a kid. So like those are things for the Noona romances that are kind of a little bit more unique for, oh, you've been a mom, because you could have been a super young mom. You've been in mom adult space for a pretty long time. And all of a sudden you have maybe a little college puppy dog kid, puppy dogging after you. Like that's, how many years is there really a difference? Kind of makes you wonder. But
I would say that if as soon as I heard it's 1 year, I would not consider it
No,
a
1 year
romance at all, even if they're in different phases of lives.
Yeah, I'd be like,
I would like side eye that drama for saying that, because especially when you think about like if we're going, not that they now use it anymore, but like Korean age, sometimes like 2 people can be 2 years apart and they're the same age, like depending upon how they're like, so like that's where it gets like weird. And
then also like sometimes they're really playing with us sometimes, where like 2 years to me, that's nothing. Like that's
2
not
years
like
nothing.
Like if you
Especially
went to school
older.
together, that's not a Noona romance. But my thing is like, so long as, you know, within 5 years, but there's an addendum to this, as soon as everyone's over 20 within 5 years. When it's like 5 years, and listen, there's a couple that I was like looking at like lists of like, oh, Noona romances, where it's like, I call them crime romances, even though they're not romance. They're not crime dramas, because like, I'm sorry, a 17-year-old and a 25-year-old, get fucked. Get out of here. I don't want it. Like, I don't want it in my life.
Wait those couple of years.
It doesn't matter who's the older, if it's male or female. It's gross. Okay. So there's a few here. I'm looking at you, high school king of savvy. I got by that drama. I didn't know.
I watched like 1.5 episodes, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. And I was like, no, I'm out. Nope.
Yeah. And listen,
especially because the high school girl was adorable, and I was like, just right there.
Age appropriate.
Yeah. So we have a few like little addendums to our Noona romance that I don't consider those Noona romances. I consider them vastly weirdly coded crime dramas.
Yeah. I mean, like at the very least, we could be like, they are age gap, but like I feel like Noona just like implies like a legal
legal romance, a romance that isn't grooming in any way. Thank you. And listen, we are not about that life at all.
I will say I've got a few. There are a few that I've watched where he is 18 or 19 when they meet, and she is significantly older, but it never becomes a romance until he's over. The Taiwanese one, My Dear Boy. I really enjoyed that one, and part of what I really enjoyed about it is that they are just solidly friends for a really long time. And like watching it, you're like, I don't even care if it never becomes a romance, because I love their friendship so much. It's so good for both of them. Yeah. So like sometimes there's like ones that weird
gray area.
Because the power dynamic is weird, or you know, I don't know. But like in general,
no, but as soon as I see one of these
away from the grown folk.
And it's not even like just like a Noona romance thing. Like as soon as I see any sort of age gap where it's like that person works in an office and that person's wearing a high school uniform, get out of here. No, absolutely not. No. Like this does not fly with old Natalia. There was one, and This wasn't Noona Romance. And I just remember being like, guys, you're trying too hard. Okay, does anyone remember like the meme from that one Transformers movie where the guy pulls out the law about like, well, I might be, 19 and my girlfriend's 16, but we started dating when I was 17, and so it was legal then, and all this. And he pulls out this law, and everyone was like, "Why the fuck would you do this, Transformers? You could have just made them the same age. Like, this is so fucking weird." There was a drama that did this same thing, where it was Thumping Spike. It was a volleyball drama.
Oh, yeah.
Where this woman comes to like be like the new coach of this boys' high school volleyball team. And then, like, the player returns after an absence, so he's technically, like, 19, but he has to go back because he was, like, gone for a year to, like, finish high school. So they're like, oh, don't worry, he's not a minor. I'm like, yeah, but he's still a high school student. He's still in high school.
And you could have literally just made it about a college team.
Yeah, there's like no reason to that.
Why are we doing this? Why are we playing these games?
Some things should have stopped at the writers' table.
Yeah.
Like, you would think that there would have been like one woman there in the room, just being
that was like,
"Hey, wait a second,
about this.
This is fucking weird, guys.
Can we address this, please?
Let's just tweak it and make it unweird.
Yeah,
easy.
It's not that hard. Like, and most of the time, you're like, when you see something like that, you're like, literally just make it college. If you had just made it college. And I mean, in a lot of these Asian countries, they still wear uniforms in college. So, like, hey, if you had some little uniform fetish thing going on, you could still follow that. Like,
I want to give a super quick little shout out to the show My Strange Hero. Mm-hmm. What I like about this is, like, he had to go back to high school, all these things, but, like, there was no romance with any. You never had a question of, was that going to be a thing?
Yeah.
His romance was age appropriate with someone he went to high school, back in the day. She's adult. She's a teacher now. Like, so I guess it's a teacher-student relationship, but like he's 30. Like, the characters.
And she knew, right? It's not like a never be.
No, like they know
that movie.
Like, and so it was never a questionable. It wasn't a Noona thing.
Never been kissed. Never sat right with me. Even when I watched it as a teen, I was like,
no,
absolutely not. This is wrong. This is a crime. Like, it doesn't matter. He didn't know she was 30. Anyway, okay. I think that's enough about crime. We can actually talk about non-crime ones. The ones that we do enjoy, genuinely.
Well, also, I want to discuss this because I posed this, like, question earlier, too, about, like, the definition of a Noona romance. Like, is the definition of a Noona romance, including secondary characters being the Noona romance of the drama? Are you going to, like, add that? Or does it have to fall in that main couple?
Yeah. See, I think in order to classify a drama as a capital A, capital N, like a Noona romance, it has to be the main sort of couple and the main plot. But I think you can have a, like, lowercase Noona romance within anything, right? Like, and you can be like, yeah, there's a Noona romance in this. But it's not a Noona romance.
When I was coming up with my list of, like, when I was like, what are my Noona romances that I enjoyed? I focused only on the ones where it was the main couple that I liked. But that's not to say that, like, there can't be Noona romance in a non-Noona romance drama,
I say this because, I mean, like, I had two that I just, like, wrote down because they do have Noona romances. But you take something like Love is Science, where technically all of the couples in the show have the same amount of screen time. Like, there is the main couple, but, like, for the most part, every other couple has, like, especially as couples, the same amount of time. So, like, this is not... The main character is the Noona romance, like, in this show. Like, so it definitely is that. But, like, you could, like, talk about the fact that, like, one of the secondary characters are two guys, and it's heavily promoted that it's BL. which if we go by this Noona romance, where the secondary can't, like, if it's in the secondary, then it's not a Noona romance. What does that lead? So it's like it's in those like shows where like your characters have like almost the same exact screen time, even if there is the main one that has like a little, like, say 10% more screen time, but it's still mostly all of it, kind of shifting through.
I think, and we do have you do get a lot of those kinds of dramas where it's an ensemble cast and everybody's story's getting told. So, but there's always sort of like that one that's a little more central or whatever. So I see what you're saying. Like,
or like if it's like the main kind of conflict within the secondary couple is the Noona romance, or like maybe the friend keeps on talking to the main person about like the age difference, like then it becomes this kind of like main central. Then so like the Noona romance, just because it's been being brought up so much, then becomes it's a gray area. I know. But
well, and also, I mean, another point is kind of like there's a difference between a Noona romance where the plot arc of the Noona romance is not necessarily the main plot of the show.
Yes.
So like the show itself, even if the main characters are the Noona romance, all these things, if that's not really the ultimate point of the show.
Yeah, it's not the like main thing they talk about all the time is the age.
Because my list is very limited. I have not fully seen the entire series of a lot of them yet. But like search www as an example, like would I always go Noona romance? That's what I would sell it to someone as. I probably would not sell the show as a Noona romance to somebody really ever, because the point of the show is not that. But
the Noona romances are pretty substantial, like
right, it is.
I get it.
So like it is a Noona romance, but like is search www really a Noona romance? Like, is that the theme of the show? Secondary theme, like that's the secondary theme of the show. But or even the question, for instance, if the main character of search www wasn't the Noona romance, would it like you said earlier, like would that still constitute? And again, it's an ensemble thing, but there still is one character that's just gets a little more screen time, and you kind of follow her just a little bit more. So there's a lot of nuance there.
And I mean, maybe in search www, if like the third female is not in a Noona romance, right? Like there's sort of three main females. Two of them are wind up in Noona romances and the other one's not. If you were watching an ensemble like that and all three of them had Noona romances, even though the romance wasn't the central theme, you still would probably be more likely to categorize it that way, because they're definitely going for a thing.
Yeah, there, like right? Percentage-wise, like it would actually probably end up being a Noona romance. Yeah.
Right. So have we felt like we established it? I don't think there's any really obvious hard and fast rules. I do think so. To return to the point of, it's nice if the age gap is over 5 years. I think we would like to all say that.
Yeah.
Like, that makes it feel much more securely a new
romance. But if you're looking at my drama list, they literally like 1 year is fine.
Yeah,
like
I was like looking at like my drama list to like, okay, I'm gonna find like a few, like I wanted to find a few like Thai ones just so we had like something to put in there. And I picked one, and then I realized it was 2 years, like, but I was like in it already, and I was like, well, 2 years, like that's not a they were at college together. That's not a new romance. Like, get out of here.
You're experiencing the same things roughly at the same time. It's
I do think that is one point. Sometimes you see people talking about like a Thai one or a Chinese one, and they'll call it a Noona romance because it's just an easy thing to say. I mean, obviously, Noona romance is a K-drama. It's a Korean word. It's a but like for intents and purposes, it's just easier than like using the word for older sister or whatever, for because not every language does that. And like, I'm not going to be like calling it a, you know, a, what is it in Chinese, like Gigi or something. Like, I can't learn all the different terms. I'm just going to call them all Noona romances, even though they're not all Korean. So that's
yeah. So now I think we get into the part of the episode that people really want to know. All right, they want to know.
I want to know
what
ones
we like and what ones we think they should be watching and why.
Which one should I pick? I will pick Nothing But You, which is a C drama that just aired at the beginning of this year. It's a sports drama too, so like it's half sports drama, half Noona drama, and very like much in those two things because the Noona romance, or you know, equivalent because it's Chinese, but like the romance, like they are like she is older and it's like a plot point, a heavily plot point, and they even like kind of like show their like the immaturity levels of both of them. But it's really nice. Like you like I do like I like that like you can kind of see like they just kind of click together. So like their personalities match together, and they do a lot of things where like they both lean on each other in different aspects. So it's not so like one-sided, which I think like a Noona romance can tend to lead to, kind of be like more like this older person is the one who's like taking the like kid under their wings and like showing them, you know, that sort of thing. Because they both kind of find themselves like together at like their lowest points, but it's like seen in different aspects. And it's not like, and they're kind of just like in weird spots in their careers. So it's nice to watch them kind of just become really great together, and how they are constantly like you constantly see why they were drawn together, because their personalities match so much.
It's a fun show. Like I enjoyed it quite a bit as well. Like literally, Jessie said she was watching it, and then I was like, "Well, I guess I'll watch it."
I mean, like, yeah, it is a lot of fun. Like, it like really like, and the actors are great together. I think they have great chemistry, and they also like just like behind the scenes stuff is like really funny of them too. Like they're always messing with each other, so it's just kind of was like a solidly like fun watch, even with the sports aspect of it, because there's a lot of sports.
There's a lot of sports.
It is a sports drama too.
But also it's very easy to watch because it's on it's on WeTV, and it's also on IGE, so like it's everywhere.
Wherever you want to watch it.
How about you, Amanda?
Okay, I'm gonna go with my very first Noona romance. It's Japanese, and it does fall into that category of kind of questionable, but really, really enjoyable.
I know which one you're talking about.
It's Kimi Wapeto.
Yeah.
The remake is the one that I've watched, which is the more recent version. And it's the story about a woman who finds a homeless boy and turns him into her pet. And like, just literally, she pats his
love
head.
Japanese dramas.
She's like, listen, I used to have a dog, and you kind of remind me of his sad little puppy dog eyes, and let me look after you. Now, one of the things in this is that, like, there is a big age gap, and he is, like, 18 or 19. But, A, it doesn't become sexual between them until a couple years have passed, or a year or two have passed. And B, he's much more mature than she is in a lot of ways. Like, he's been homeless for a while, and he has been, they don't necessarily flat out say it, but he's basically been surviving by having Noona romances. He has older ladies who feed him for, you know, things. And so when she first takes him in, he keeps trying, and she's like, oh my God, no. Like, you are going to be my puppy, and I will feed you, and I will, like, look after you and give you a place to stay, but I am not having sex with you. You are, no, we don't do bestiality in this house. Like, I don't know. It's just like, you know,
listen,
she's
they're
got a
having some
boyfriend,
consensual kink stuff. It's fine. Like,
it's, you know, but it's really, really cute. The boy, the actor, Shishan Jun, he's really good, like really good actor, and he's a ballet dancer, and he is training for this, and it's a really good story. Her best friend is a mom, so you sort of see that like aspect of life too, of, you know, she's trying to encourage her to like do more with your life, like if you know, and it's really good. Like, she blossoms there's something about this relationship with this younger man that they both help each other. She pushes him to like do more and go after his dreams, and he like helps her to like find her worth and choose herself over her parents, over doing the right, you know, the quote unquote right thing, and just instead do the thing that's right for her.
Yeah.
So
I think the show does a good job of like showing how her relationships with her family, society, and past relationships have like stunted her to the point like she couldn't do anything. And so like when she found the kid, it was kind of more like, this is just going to be my project that I'm going to hyper fixate on to like not think about like this weight I have on me from like outside sources. And they like start to really kind of like comfort each other in that aspect and start to really like see each other at their like rawest point. And I think it does a good job like incorporating that into the story and her growth. She does grow a lot. They allow her to grow a lot.
Yeah.
I watched just a few episodes of that recently, and what I liked about it so early on was, you know, as he was staying at the house by himself sometimes, and he kind of found her little like romance self-help books, and he automatically was like, you know, at first he kind of giggled, but then he started reading them and stuff, and he kind of just had compassion towards that, and like it was automatically for him, there's a reason she's reading these, despite the fact that she's obviously successful in her work and her like academic career and things like that. Like, she must really be thinking that she's not like, so he kind of slowly filled in the blanks watching her and stuff, and but it wasn't in a manipulative fashion. It was not, at that point they're not romantic or anything. It's not that he's trying to get something out of her. He's just like, noted, like, this is a big thing in her life, and I'm gonna maybe like, not, oh, I'm gonna be the romance for her. It's, this is a thing. It's obviously very important to her. I'm gonna pay attention to that because romance for her is a big deal. And so I thought that was neat. The way that character handled it, the way the story handled it, even that early on, I thought that was pretty cool.
I watched it so many years ago that I vaguely remember it, but I remember
I watched it when it was dropping on Viki. Like, I think it was dropping like kind of almost every week. There was new episodes or something. I feel like it was broken up at some point.
If you haven't watched it and you do go watch it, or if you have watched it and you didn't know, the director actually filmed like 2 endings and cut the one, and the one has a lot of kissing in it and it's pretty funny. So like, if you know, go search for the cut ending, it's kind of amusing. It's like they felt like they had to throw a wedding in, so they put a wedding in, but like the kissing one was better and made more sense to the drama, but whatever. It's still out there in the world. You can find it, and it's funny. How about you, Sky?
So mine, and like I said, I have not watched all that many. I've probably only fully watched a little handful of Noona romances, but earlier on in my Asian drama watching, I did watch Witches Romance. Do not be confused. It is not about witches. It is not a supernatural show. Witches, when they do this with English titles, English version titles, they mean bitch is what they mean. Like, they mean powerful woman is what they actually mean when they're saying that. So as far as who stars in it, Jung Hwa and Park Seo Joon And so it is a delight. It is so fun. So it's been a handful of years now since I watched it, but so I don't remember the numbers on the age gap. I want to say it was over 10 years.
I think it was 15 years.
I think it's like 15.
Yeah. Because all I always think of is that scene where, like, they're kissing and she sees his wallet or whatever, and she's, like, trying to read it. Well, like, you know, and she's like, oh, my God, doing the math in her head. And, like,
I think that she was 40 and he was 25. So I think...
I think that...
Yeah. So she is an extremely successful, I want to say, publishing type thing, and the reason the witch title is because not only is she powerful, like, you know, she's very kind of no nonsense at work. She gets crud done. And so not beloved at work necessarily, because she's seen as like the bad guy at work because she has to kind of be mean. But she has a soft little center, because of course she does, and pretty much the way it all starts is there was like a dare there at a bar. There was this whole thing, and I feel like she got embarrassed about something, but he saw that and like just stepped up to the plate because he thought that would be the nice thing to do. And then it just went from there, like, oh, she's actually like super charming. Sure, like, let's go spend the night together. And so like it happens quick. It is not like a
I think I dropped it on episode 2 and they had already done like a bunch of stuff. Like, I think it's like very first episode.
Yeah, it's not, oh wait, 7 episodes for them to like start dating. No.
No.
But yeah, it's pretty funny. The laughs are played up. So I'm not saying, I'm sure there are probably some things that are not, you know, the kindest, but I don't feel like anything was really mean. There's a lot of stuff that she felt like she failed at some parts of life, and then she slowly kind of just had to kind of come out of whatever aspects of her shell she had, even though she was kind of an extrovert type character. And he had his own job, he was doing his own stuff, and at some point there's even a little time jump later on before they get like hyper serious about like staying together forever type stuff. So there were aspects of it that felt a little bit more realistic, like the logistical later on part of their relationship was like, yeah, they would probably have conversations about maybe breaking up for a time period or things like that. So but it was pretty sweet. I mean, even episode 1, I mean, if you want to see Park Seo-joon like running around in a Santa Claus outfit across town, like, there you go. Like, Rami Ran is in it. I mean, there's a lot of people that you would recognize if you picked it up. Yoon Hyun Min, he's like the best friend of Park Seo-joon's character. They always have like, so, you know, you go talk to your friend about all your relationship issues. That's very much what you get of that. And it's usually little funny conversations. A lot of it is not really that serious, but some of it is. So I really do recommend it. It is spicy. Do not recommend if you are not into that. Because not this poster. I feel like one of the posters for the drama, one of the posters is just them standing together. There's one where like she's up on a copy machine. It's a thing. So like that one, that is the vibe of that is the show right there. But it has cutesy stuff. Like I remember a scene of she's in her apartment just like belting out some song because she's like sad. What she does is like her karaoke stuff at night. Like she just and that becomes like, and she gets kind of like caught doing it. Like he walks in and she's super embarrassed being an older woman, you know, the stereotypical older woman being crazy or whatever, and he always just is not fazed by it. Like the age he doesn't really care. So I thought it was pretty sweet. As I was clicking off of the MDL, at the very top, the comment says, Noona lovin' perfection. I thought that was just funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one that's got similar but very different vibes. It's a Thai show from 2022. If you like male strippers, oh boy, have I got a show for you. It's called Mama Go-Go. It's definitely like a sitcom style show that follows this woman who's kind of a bad person. Like, we can just like admit to ourselves at the end of the show she's kind of terrible. Who used to be like a pop singer and then left because she got pregnant by this just absolute skis ball. And then ruined her she was in like a duet and then ruins the other girl's chances of keeping going. And now years have passed. She has a teenage daughter and she inherits her uncle's male strip club that's just not very popular, and she's like, well, I can make this popular again. But meanwhile, there's this young greasy gangster dude who's trying to get money from her, and she is so mean to him. She's like so mean to him, and he realizes, oh shit, I'm into that. And then just, nonsense ensues. There's so many shirtless men in this show. I would say that there's not like nudity, like it's not like stripper. It's like, sexy
Go-go
dancing.
dancer.
Yeah, go-go dance, like sexy dancing with no shirt on, but like your pants always stay on, So like I think it's rated like PG-13 or something. It's very goofy. And I love that the Noona romance aspect is for most of the show she's just vaguely like annoyed by it, like, oh geez, no, God, you want money from me, and he's like, listen, we can make that problem disappear, and she's like, I don't want to like meet your family, like this is fucking weird. But it's fun. It's a fun show. It's very silly, and it's free to watch, which is nice. You don't need any subscription at all because it's on YouTube. So,
Perfect.
Listen, if it was tame enough to be on YouTube, it's not too crazy. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's very silly. I mostly wanted to mention this one, mostly because I find like a lot of Noona romances are meant to be taken very seriously a lot of the times. Like a lot of them are very like serious.
They're mellows, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Seriously, everyone for some reason has a real big opinion about,
but they never have opinion of the male
Yeah.
dating a younger
woman.
Yeah.
Real big opinion. That's not really the case in Go. It's just like we would have big opinions on it, but right now we've got, my strippers are feuding with some other strippers. There's, people would be more upset about this, but my teenage daughter's acting up and dating a stripper. Like, it's just nonsense. It's just pure nonsense. It's very colorful. They have goofy dances. Like, it's goofy. The whole show is goofy, which I feel like some shows need to be goofy.
The entire GMMTV stable of puppies is in this drama.
It's like if you're a somewhat good-looking man who's willing to take off your shirt, you're in this show. Like, if you have if you work in the GMMTV building and they've witnessed you work out at a gym once, you're in this show. Like, it's got, like, if you even look at the poster, it's just her surrounded by shirtless men on, like, stripper poles. Like, it's exactly what you would imagine. Like, sometimes you see a show and, like, the vibes of the poster are not the vibes of the show once you get in. No. The vibes of the poster are exactly the vibes of the show when you get going. But it's very fun and very goofy, and it's just a fun watch, and it's, like, easy to watch. Like, it's not... There's nothing complicated in it.
You don't have to think very hard for that.
You can just enjoy the nonsense and then enjoy her being mean to this greasy young loan shark. Like, who's every time she's mean to him, he's just like, baby, more, please. Which I always find is a fun character.
So I'm gonna go back to the drama that I kind of discussed previous, which is Love is Science, specifically because I did watch it before this episode, so might as well. Actually, I'm not done. I have one episode.
That's okay. You got the gist. You got the gist.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's easy. So it's a Taiwanese drama, I think, from 2021. It's fairly recent, but
yeah, 2021.
Yeah.
It's
so
good.
It's good, and I think it's like one of those like general like everybody's gonna probably like it. You might like peter out on it halfway through because it's kind of just like it gets repetitive or whatever, but like it's just like an easy kind of watch. But it does something a little bit different in terms of like the romance that it's like presented wise that I think is like really interesting and kind of like adds to it. So the premise of the show is that there's the guy has been in love with the girl since he was very young. They met like when he was like 10 or something, like, and he's just been into her since then. And things kind of like happened in their life, and they've like found each other again after she's gotten divorced and has become a successful like business person. But he's always had this like love for her. And so it focuses on her, and then it focuses on other couples in the show too, because her job is she owns a matchmaking service called Love is Science, so that's where the title comes from. And so you kind of see some of the like the couples from that, and then also just like people surrounding her. And the show is trying to set up like you seeing different types of couples and showcasing that. So like you have their couple where there's the older woman, younger man, and then you have another couple where it's the woman is this rich business person and the guy is a farmer, and then you have the gay couple, and then you have like her best friend that has things happen. But the show does this thing where they do showcase them together when they were younger and how they met each other, and like kind of some of like the moments that they had together as they grew up. And it's not weird. You think it's going to be weird, like in it like a gray area, because there is a fairly sizable gap between them, and they're very, when she meets him, he is like a 10-year-old. But she ends up at his house because she has a crush on his older brother, because his older brother is like a sports guy or something. So she meets the younger brother when he kind of sneaks up on her. And then they kind of like showcase like all the little times that they come together, because they actually like develop like a really nice little friendship. Like she like takes him out to go get treats, or like she talks to him. There's like a moment where like he's being bullied by kids and she like stops him. So you see all these little like, they call them like diary entries, where like you see like why this kid is so into her, because she's just like nothing but nice to him consistently throughout the years. And so it's like nice to kind of see that like it isn't just something that like it's, you don't get to see why the kid likes her, you know, like, because I think a lot of times you get the like, you don't get that backstory of like where, like what is it about this person that like has made him sit here for, I don't know, 15 years like constantly crushing on this one woman. And you see she genuinely is there for him during like periods of really like bad time. She's like always nice to him, not in a creepy way, but like a nice to him. And you get to see that kind of like background of the relationship. And like they do a really cool thing where they're the way that they are when they're younger and then the way that they are now, it's got that same like
vibe to
like,
it.
Yeah, like they're, it's just like you can tell they fit. They don't have like, it's not hard for them to be together in the same room ever. And so it's like you get the parallels of like even when they were at that point in their lives and where they are now, they just kind of just fit. And so it follows, you know, them coming back together, and then, you know, all the trappings of a good Taiwanese drama where the ex-husband comes back and he has a girlfriend and antics ensue. But it's really cute. I enjoyed it. I think most people would as well.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's easy too.
I do like dramas because I like dramas that give people a reason to like the other person, like how they got to know that person as a person well before as adults you're now in a relationship.
Yeah, or
as far as why do you hold this flame for, like, why are you so interested in this other person?
And it's not just like a superficial thing. Like, it's not just like he thought she was cute or something and still thinks she's cute. Like, it's just
this is not to dog on the other type of dramas, but there are many dramas, and sometimes that's considered a charm point of some dramas where it's like, why do you love this person? And they're like, I don't know. And then they leave it like, I just do. And it's like, okay, like, shouldn't you maybe at least like them as a human? Like, there should be something about them as a person that draws you to them. There really should be at least something.
You would think. You would hope. But you would think.
But when it is nice when certain dramas decide to actually tell parts of how they get to know each other as people, no matter the age, be it younger or older or whatever. Like, I like it when dramas do that. So, my final one, it's what I brought up earlier. I'll just kind of talk a little bit more about Search www. So it's back from 2019. Pre-pandemic, man.
It's
the work
so crazy.
It is very much, as far as what the drama's really about, is women in the work world. Like, that is what it's about. And then also their relationships with each other. So it follows 3 women, and their professional relationships and things like that, and the stuff that they deal with at work, as well as in their personal lives. So it all centers around search engine companies. So that's why Search www. Oh, lots of W's.
It's literally impossible to search for.
Oh, so bad. You just have to go for like an actress and then go from
Yeah. So the actresses are Im Soo Jung, Lee Da Hee, and John Hae Jin. Everyone's marvelous. So well acted.
It's an
so
incredible
well
show.
acted.
Yeah.
So even if there had been not a stitch of romance, it would have been a fascinating show still. That's how good that side of the work theme is. And it's also, I'm trying to remember, I don't feel like there was sexism that they would deal with, but it usually wasn't coming from higher ups that I can remember quite as much. It wasn't like, oh, I'm not getting a promotion because I'm a woman. It was never that. It was, if they dealt with misogyny, it was like a peer or somebody, and they would take care of that. And
like they were making like an offhanded comment or something like that.
Yeah, like they would. I feel like there was one guy that was like a creep, and they figured out he was a creep, and Lee Da-hee's character went and scared the bejesus out of him, and that became a thing that was not a thing real quick. They're very much portrayed as powerful women. Like, that is, love it. I haven't talked about the Noona Romance aspect. I just wanted to set up, like, that is the crux of the show. Really, really. But then the secondary stuff is the romance lives, the private lives of these 3 women. And 2 of them, pretty much the main gal, her character name is Bae Tammy, or Tammy, because at the company you have your English cool name.
They're all really cool at the company. Yeah.
So Tammy ends up dating a guy named Park Morgan, played by Jong Ki-young. They have it's not spicy, but it's pretty sweet, actually. Like, they play games a lot together, and they really just get to know each other as people before that even really becomes a thing, I think. Man, I can't quite remember.
Bang the first night they meet.
But but it's not.
But they play video games together first, and then talk and like have dinner,
feels,
and then like
isn't it essentially friends with benefits for quite some time? Like, isn't that really what it is?
And it was very intentional too. Like, it wasn't weird. Yeah,
it was like easy. It really felt friends. Let's do that too. Why not? And then I think the question then becomes, do we actually want to seriously date? Like that's when they start having like, have to think about, and they don't really go age gap. Like, that's not really the thing. And that's kind of the interesting aspect of that relationship. Age doesn't seem to really be the kicker of like what they discuss. Ultimately, they have to discuss just like life goals and stuff and kind of figure out, for him, having a family is super important, and for her, that is not in the cards, and she doesn't want to get married. So, like, that is the thing that they end up discussing. Yeah. And you see why that, and it's not as simple as that's what we're talking about. It's like, oh, you see why it is for his character and why it is for her. And so how they explore that is pretty cool. So then you also have the character that Lita He plays, Scarlett, and her romance is pretty freaking cute with
so good.
E.J. Wook's character, who is an actor, a melodramatic actor that she followed this soapy drama that he was in, and she was just way into it, and she's a pretty serious person. And so the fact that she blows off steam by like yelling at the TV for this soapy drama is so fun. And so that's how you see the playful side of her, because at work she is not playful. But so her having to so again, is it a Noona romance? It is, but as far as, do they ever really talk about age that much? Not really. No. Like, that's not the crux of that one. The crux of that one is, I'm your fan. Oh, I want to be more than your fan. You know, so that's the thing there.
I think there's only one part, and it's when, like, she's near fans. I think they were, like, the fans might have been talking about, like, something, and, like, maybe mentioning that, like, overheard.
Like, oh, that old lady there or something.
So, yeah. And she's like, I got him.
Like,
not you.
Like, fans being ageist? Say it isn't so.
What a shock.
Yeah, you go.
And then the third romance is not a Noona romance, but it's pretty interesting as far as arranged marriage, corporate things, and then he kind of starts sticking up for her and stuff, and it's like, that's kind of hot. I don't know, like that. She kind of, that's like, kind of a thing. But so it's Noona romances that really do not emphasize the age gap all that much, because everyone is far along in their adult life enough to where it's just not the conversation.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked that about it. So, like, as far as, again, would I sell this as a Noona romance to somebody? Probably not. But again, I don't have a huge assortment of Noona romances up my sleeve. I do really recommend it. I enjoy these romances. I do like the topics that they talked about, even within the personal life discussions. A lot of it felt really, really realistic. Of course, some of it was drummed up for dramatics, especially the third romance with the ex ? Husband, all that stuff. But I don't know. I really recommend it, especially if you want to see, you know, powerful women swinging bats at a car and things like that. Having a little goblin moment. I really appreciate the goblin moment. But the Noona romance is not the main aspect of the drama.
Yeah.
Do not go in just thinking that's all that's happening, because that's so much not all that's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, because even before that, it's their friendship or their three relationship is like more kind of important than the
it's really
the boys.
A cis man's more than anything, you know, any other aspect. It's about those three women and the workplace and their little side pieces, you know.
That's essentially what it feels like. And also the tension that you feel about the women's relationships with each other within the workplaces. Like, you feel the tension if something's going down, and it's not It's never catty or anything absurd. It's like, it's just real professional stuff that has nothing to do with like stereotypical gender crud or anything like that. It's just like women getting stuff done, essentially. So, and competition amongst them professionally, and how you handle that personally as well is interesting.
It's such a good show. Like,
It really is.
We have, I think we did an episode on it way back in the day, probably First Impressions, possibly.
It's for like, well, like Women's Day or something, like, so we just yeah. And I think we might have like done the first impressions on it. Maybe?
I feel like maybe.
Possibly. Listen, are we to be expected to remember everything we've done? Like,
we've been around, and there's been a pandemic since then, so. But I'm always ready to suggest search www to somebody. Like,
yep.
And as far as dudes should watch it too, go freaking watch the show. It's cool.
So before we exit, before we leave this episode, does anyone have some quick? We don't need to go into super details. Just one sentence, descriptors, and for any other Noona romance dramas that they think people might enjoy.
If you want a reverse harem, that's a J drama that has a pretty decent age gap. It's Last Cinderella, because she's like in her 40s, and like one of the guys interested in is very much younger, and it is like an actual thing that like they discuss in the show as well.
I totally spaced on a drama that I finished specifically for this episode. So, why her?
Oh yeah, I was wondering when you were gonna say.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, you've been keeping us updated on your progress on it.
So
I kept on not picking it specifically.
So let's talk about why her for a second. Sorry about that. As far as would I sell this as a Noona romance? No, probably not. Because I wouldn't be like, yeah, pick it up because it's a Noona romance. Pick it up because you're going in for like corporate thriller shenanigans. That's what you're picking it up for. As far as is there some Noona vibes? There's heavy Noona vibes in this. You got two puppies going after her at the same time, which that's why it's worth mentioning. Like, it's because one of them, it's like, oh, you're my former tutor, and I feel like I need to protect you from my shitty family. And then the other one is like, oh, you're the only person that ever trusted that I didn't murder somebody. So, like, those are two really valid reasons to puppy dog after somebody.
Yes. Yeah.
She just really
valid.
And this isn't just surface level puppy dogging. Like, they go the extra mile for her all over the place. Like, they sacrifice their safety numerous times, all this stuff. The romance is cute. As far as what percentage of the drama has that? 20%? 25, maybe?
I guess if you include that their motivation a lot of the times is that they actually really like her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, so the two puppy dogs. The two puppy dogs who are played. Okay, let's talk about who these people are, shall we? The woman is played by So-hyun Jin.
So we all would be doing the same thing.
We would be puppy dogging after her. That is that. So then you have Hwang In-yup as Gong-chan, and he is the main puppy dog. But then you have Bae In-hyuk as the secondary puppy dog who has the shitty family. But
she really got lucky in this drama.
and they don't really hide. They might hide it kind of from her, but as far as like, she's their teacher too, so you got that going on. In law school though, so like,
yeah, it's not like high. Yeah, they're older.
It's not high school. Also, they're a little older because like one of them's been in jail before. The other one, he's like held back a year because he doesn't really care. So. But so the romance aspect of like them puppy dogging, it almost feels like even if they weren't romantic, they would still just want to protect her, though. Like, there's
That's
kind
true.
of that part of it. Like, it's very, I respect her as a person.
Yeah, they're
she
kind
was
of like
there for me.
Infatuated with her, like, just how good she is.
And then they see how, oh, she's surrounded by all these horrific people. She needs help. Like, she will not be able to survive on her own. We need to do something about that. So, motivation-wise, you're right. It does... Their motivation is pretty much always, well, I like her. That they always say I like her, but it's usually more than that. It's usually like, I respect her and I'm willing to like do anything for her.
Bad. But like he wouldn't be in law school if it wasn't for, so like there's even that motivation. So
it's true. It's true. So like and then the romance is sweet. Like and sorry, second puppy dog. You don't get to you don't
Listen, there's always that 1 second lead that never had a shot. And you're just like, listen, you're very sweet, but sorry, my guy.
You will find a great girl someday.
But how often do you get a thriller Noona romance with two puppy dogs? Not often. No. Two puppy dogs that are willing to like do anything for you? Nah. Who are capable too. Capable dudes. It's not like just, oh, I just like you, here's some flowers. No, they never messed around. It was never, oh, I just have a crush. It was like, I will go find information for your revenge. Like, that is what I will get for you instead of flowers. Yeah, I think that's a respectable crush.
So hot these days.
So hot these days.
Revenge instead of flowers.
I recommend it. Trigger warnings for various things on that.
Mm-hmm. And I think we should give a shout out to Secret Love Affair, which is sort of the OG in some senses, you know, sexy, like Noona I mean, it is sexy. I've tried to watch that drama like multiple times, and I can't get past the first couple episodes. I just don't care about the plot. Like, it's just like, I just don't care. Watch the highlight. I'm like, okay, you are in. Love it. I love the concept. I just, all the politics that, like, I mean, it's very politics and stuff, and, you know, cheating and stuff. But, like, people who love that drama, and if you're looking for sexy, mellow, Noona stuff,
and if you want to look for you are in still being in love with older women, the movie Like for Likes is really good. It is really good. It's like one of those ensemble romance.
We need to do a Patreon movie night with that one.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my god, Scott,
you're in for
so into it.
Okay. Like.
So you've heard it here. We will probably be doing a Patreon movie night sometime with that.
Oh,
keep your eyes and ears open.
I'm so excited.
Be on our Discord, and you will be
Sky movie. This is
So it's like one of my top Korean movies. It's really good. It's got it. It's got everything. And then finally, I think the final one I want to mention is one that I know that Jessie and I both really like, and that's the J drama Animals.
Oh yeah,
which is really quite nice. Really quite nice. We've talked about it on a previous What We're Watching episode, but.
And the vibe is not like the poster.
No, the vibe is not like the poster. The poster
Animals
seem like you're about to watch a sexy good time, but it's not. It's
and Animals is the company name. That's why.
Like it's not.
I'm just saying the title with like the poster always makes me like,
It's not. It's a very sweet.
Yeah, it is 100% PG rated. Like it is not. There is like nothing offensive in it. That you couldn't let your 13-year-old see. Like, it's very on the level, you know?
Yeah.
This is. I will just mention, I've mentioned it a couple times on the podcast in the last little bit, Viva Femina, C-drama. It's a pretty solid Noona romance, but there's also, it's kind of doing that ensemble cast, lots of stories. So, the main couple, Noona, and they do definitely discuss things like, she has a teenage daughter, and like that becomes a, you know, kind of like Sky was saying that the discussion in Search WWW about, you know, I want kids, you don't want kids. Like he's going, yeah, of course I want kids, and she's like, baby, the bakery is closed, but like, you know, so like they have some discussions there too, and the show itself, not what I thought it was going to be, but it was still a pretty good show, pretty enjoyable. And I mean, Jasper Lew. I mean, what else do you need?
What else do you need?
Like,
what else do you need? That's enough of a draw. Say less.
Right there.
It's in. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with us while we chatted about Noona Romances. Hope you maybe check some out, or maybe if you have some, you can come on our Discord and tell us what are your favorite Noona Romances. Like, we love people coming on our Discord, which is 100% free to join, and it's cool people only. So if you don't even need to be that cool. Like, I'm not that cool, and I'm on the Discord. So just come and chat on the free Discord. Links are on our blog post, and our blog is certifiednews.com, where you can find all of the links to all the episodes that we talk about. But our episodes are also wherever podcasts basically can be found, and also on YouTube. You can find all of our episodes. So whatever you use to listen to music, we're there. We're haunting you. We'll never get rid of us. If you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednoonas to become part of the Certified Found family. There's family on the web, and they keep the lights on in this little village of the Certified Noonas. So anyway, thank you for hanging out with us. We hope you have a fantastic week, and we'll be back next week with another episode. And as always, wash your hands, wear a mask, and keep enjoying Asian entertainment, including Noona dramas. All right, see ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.